Well, we're going to get right into it. Dr. Jane Ruby is back with us today with what she says are bombshell findings from a group called the Corona Committee Conference. She says this is, quote, indisputable proof that any country which continues using the coronavirus shots being called vaccines are complicit in crimes against humanity and premeditated murder. Dr. Jane Ruby is with us now. That sounds pretty damning.
It sure does, Stu. Look, this conference was held just a few days ago, and we've had to get through it and study it. It's incredibly explosive. The Stu Peters Show was first to bring everyone, if you'll remember, individual stories of doctors who started looking at blood under their microscope when their patients were getting sick. Now we have a consortium of those doctors, but it's worldwide now. We're talking about 35 groups across the United States, UK, Germany, Austria, Japan. It's just all coming together. They have looked collectively at hundreds, I'm saying hundreds, maybe 1,000 or more vials of these injections across Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca. And what they have found is shocking. Millions of sharp-edged metal pieces in these. We're talking about just a droplet on a plate, and they're seeing hundreds of these sharp-edged metal pieces. They're seeing parasite material. And Stu, one of the scariest parts is that when they warmed the solution under the microscope, the particles started to move very quickly and move kind of in sync with each other. This is incredibly frightening. I've brought today to the show a couple of photographs and a stunning video, which is really only a part of several hours of video brought forth by these researchers. Before we get to the pictures, I'd like to play the video so we can all see what we're talking about here.
Slide without the vaccine, and inside it's the vaccine, and this is here the vaccine inside the container on the slide. When we have found this structure, this looks like a little SIM card of a cell phone, and we looked at it and moved a magnet towards this. Closely, we couldn't find any reaction, this part here, to a magnet that we held close to it. It's very interesting to see.
Wow.
It's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, so now, what exactly are they alleging here?
So this was really an English translation for Dr. Maria Hubner-Moog from Germany. Or Austria, forgive me if I get that wrong. And it was all this was sent directly to me from one of the doctors in the photographs who's also testifying at this press conference, Dr. Axel Bolland. What we're looking at is they're taking, and they've done this across numerous vials, okay? They've taken one droplet, basically, and looked at it under a regular microscope. We're not talking about anything fancy here that no one else can replicate, and many of them have replicated it. What they're seeing is sharp metal objects everywhere. They've had other experts verify that they're seeing graphene layers, right, everywhere, again. Large structures in the form of rectangles. Excuse me, let's take a closer look at the still shots. There's one picture in particular that I'd like to start with. It's actually a composite of 4 pictures. And if you look at the upper left-hand corner, you see 2 structures, actually. You see a very curly structure at the bottom, very luminescent. That is metal, some kind of metal structure. Of course, each of these 4 pictures is magnified slightly differently, but basically regular light microscope. And then you see in that upper left-hand corner, another structure. It kind of is vertical with almost a rectangular shape with an undefined pointy bottom. Okay, these are stunning structures that these experts have never seen before. They said they're not biologic, which means they're inorganic, and they have no business, Stu, in their words, being anywhere inside of a human body. Now, the picture to the upper right is, you see, it looks like a little piece of glass or metal. That is indeed a sharp metal piece. They said there are thousands of these in just a droplet. In the lower left-hand corner, you see that squiggly kind of material. They were unable to really identify it. They just said it's kind of an undefined piece. But when they looked at these pieces under the video, and they showed, and this is a 3-hour press conference, you can see so many of these things light up. They move very quickly. They're moving all around. They look like they're moving with some kind of intent toward each other and then away from each other. And then in the lower right-hand picture of these four, you see what you're looking at here, Stu, is they took a vial and they just put a closed vial under the microscope. So the lower, like left-hand corner, if you will, 50% of that is outside of the vial. And then you see on the upper right-hand part of that photo is you see those two major, there's actually three that we can see, but you see these structures. One is a long string and the other is that clump of material in the lower right-hand corner. They definitely verified that those are metallic because of the way they're reflecting light. And if you look very close to the long string, that thick band in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see just below it, there's a piece that looks like a small, little, that's what he was talking about when he said it kind of, when it flipped forward, it looked like a SIM card. I don't think he thought it was a SIM card, but that piece, Stu, in the video moves on its own toward trying to get around those structures. So very, very frightening. The other picture I wanted to show the audience was this singular photo. You can see four of the doctors on the right-hand side of this Zoom screen, but it's a very long string that's right there in the middle of the photo with then a transecting piece that goes across it, a shorter piece. They definitely said that this looked every bit like a parasite. So I just want to share, this is a very long press conference. This particular section of it that I'm bringing to light is really only one part of it. And I have to share with you, there was a double title in this press conference. This is discoverable everywhere on the net right now. There are two titles: Cause of Death After COVID-19 Vaccine. We're going to talk about that on Monday. I want to leave that teaser. This particular set of information that I'm presenting is from the other part of the press conference called Undeclared Components of COVID-19 Vax. It was held at the Pathological Institute in Reutlingen, Germany. And as I said before, these doctors have seen this hundreds of times. They indicated they were not surprised to see this, but that the world should be shocked. And they did indeed say, look, this is in the liquid vaccine. There are particles that are constantly moving. What we're going to see on Monday is what this does when it's inside your blood, and how your white cells, your granulocytes, and your lymphocytes react to these pieces. It's incredibly frightening. Okay, just absolutely
Where was
stunning
this published?
to me.
So this was intentionally. This was done as a press conference. Is that what the setting was here? That they were doing this before the media?
Yes. They're trying to get this word out. They're trying to say, look, this is worldwide. We have 35 groups of hundreds of, these are research scientists, lawyers, and physicians who've come forward with all of their evidence. And everybody has seen the same thing over and over again. Absolutely incredible, Stu. And they said, to your point in the beginning of the show, any country, any government, any company, any entity right now that carries on with this program, this jab program, after today, after being made aware of this, is going to be prosecuted and should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. They are calling for a worldwide halt, immediate halt, and please not in the children. They're very concerned because they see these companies coming after the smaller and smaller children.
I will absolutely, that's the hill that I will die on. Nobody's going to inject this into my kids just based on what I already know about this. But if what you're saying here can be held up, and it sounds like it is, I mean, there's video evidence of this here. Look into it yourselves. I would encourage everybody to look into it yourselves, figure out who these people are. I'm just learning of this right now in real time. So,
Yeah.
but I trust your vetting process. You've obviously looked into who this group is, who these people are, this Corona Committee conference that is taking place or did take place. And this is a video you said that takes about 3 hours to get all the way through, and it's translated into English. You've obviously done your due diligence to make sure that that's an accurate translation. But if that is the case, and seeing the images that I saw here, now we have recently talked about a microscopy expert that speculated that, or reported that his findings were that stainless steel and other metals, along with graphene oxide and parasites, were inside of this. This is corroborating that report. And also,
Yes, it is.
And also it is vindicating all of us from the beginning who, remember when we felt like we were alone in the room because you were the only one out here screaming about graphene oxide? Now that is being widely reported that is suspected to be one of the main ingredients of this thing, or at least in this thing, and it's a poison for people. Now everybody is kind of talking about that. Karen Kingston said that these people are not going to be able to avoid the lay down on the graphene oxide sword, because really that is the least of our concerns with what there is inside of these vials.
Yes. And Stu, on Monday, what I'm going to bring forth and report is the other part of their press conference where they looked at the bodies of 40 people who died within 2 weeks of getting the jab, and they have their cardiac tissue, their brain tissue. They're going to show you these pieces with the effect and the inflammation, and you'll be able to see that some of it's going to be slow ramping, and some of it took out people really quickly, like these 40 people. These are from autopsies, so these are certified from the physicians and the scientists. It's going to be another blockbuster report.
And just so everybody knows, we're not intentionally holding that to keep you on a limb over the weekend. We have programming here and we are out of time. So Dr. Jane Ruby, she can be found on her Telegram channel. Please follow her over there, t.me/Dr. Jane Ruby. And if you have a tip or a question for our Ask Dr. Jane segments, which are weekly on Wednesdays, email her Proton Mail. Her Proton Mail email address is drjaneruby@protonmail.com. And again, just more evidence. Please don't get this thing. This is absolutely horrible.
Just
and
wait.
Those who are, don't even wait. Wait for what? Just stop. Don't do it. All you're doing is, if you get it later, is delaying the inevitable. You're going to die. So please don't give this to your kids. Absolutely. If you want to play around with your own body, that's fine. Don't give this to your kids, please. I mean, this should be enough. Hundreds of doctors, hundreds of scientists coming together worldwide without a political agenda, saying this needs to stop, and anybody who administers this or manufactures or distributes or anybody involved with this should be tried for crimes against humanity. And I agree. Dr. Jane Ruby, thank you so much.
Thank you, Stu.